Okay. Earlier I asked if I could borrow this, and I had to do rock, paper, scissors for it, and I lost. But then he had a change of heart, so. I think it was worth it. Yeah, sorry for the additional weight. Okay, now, without further ado.
Welcome to the 3-year affiliate anniversary of Cortra's Twitch stream. Tonight we're going to tell a tale together of danger, wonder, riches, and hopefully victory. Stories have always been at the core of humanity, a means to communicate and preserve, to mourn and celebrate. We share them by word of mouth, we read them in cherished pages, and we immerse ourselves in them with games. Role-playing games have been a large part of my life, and I look fondly upon memories of Dungeons & Dragons, Rifts, Pathfinder, Deadlands, and other settings as gatherings of friends, immersion and imagination, and distraction in some of my darkest times. These tales I've enjoyed have been woven throughout decades, but tonight's story will be much shorter than that. For those of you who have never played a role-playing game, consider yourself an actor in a play. You, as a collective chat, will decide first who you are, which will determine what skills you will have at your disposal in your ultimate battle. This and subsequent choices will be decided by way of voting in polls, which I shall endeavor to conduct during ad breaks, so you may make your selections without missing how they affect the story. Rest assured the selections do matter, and each step on the path will hopefully prepare you adequately for the challenge at the end of the tale. There will be treasures throughout your adventure, and you will vie with one another to see which of you comes away with the various baubles in tonight's prize raffles. As your legend progresses, you will inch ever closer to danger. Know then that as the risk is greater, so too is the reward. In previous streamiversaries, I have incorporated those who have been present in my streams, those who have shown support through lurks, chat, subscriptions, and donations. In the first year, I wrote and sang a song with lyrics that featured nearly 40 of them. In the second, I honored them in a video. Look closely and you may notice that everyone who has subscribed in the past 2 months has been incorporated into the adventure, woven into tonight's tale in some way. Due to the names, some are a bit more overt than others, but as long as the best path is blazed via bravery and kindness, you will find these allies at your disposal. Look to the Discord later to see exactly where in the adventure these heroes have been presented. I hope that it offers some measure of honoring you, as you have honored me with your generosity. With this humble introduction out of the way, we welcome new and familiar friends to tonight's tale. Thank you so much for being here. I bid you well wishes in the challenges that lie ahead, and may luck be with you when you seek to claim your hard-earned treasures. Now then, let us begin your adventure in earnest.
You are finally awake.
Ooh, ooh, I don't want to hear myself there. Sorry. A little bit of magic went awry. Oh, hello there. Welcome to the third streamiversary. This one is flavored with RPG and prizes. Your choices will determine how well the chat does as a whole. And when prizes are encountered, your choices will matter, leading you to a good or bad ending. Or perhaps a secret best ending. Let it be known that fortune, as it does in every world, favors the bold, and kindness is never forgotten. This is how we're going to do this. Every RPG character can do something better than the average citizen. This choice will play a vital role much later in the special, and your unique powers will be amplified with bits, tips or donations, and subscriptions. In the earlier days of tabletop role-playing games, fewer class options were available to players. Tonight you'll get to select 1 out of 3 options. Will you decide together to be a rogue, a warrior, or a mage? Rogues are masters of secrecy, using finely tuned agility and cleverness to overcome any and all foes, be they traps or monsters. Warriors are battle-tested combatants that rely on strength and tactics to decimate every barrier that stands in their way. Mages are masters of magic, calling upon the essence of the unseen and seen world to bring wonders and immense power to bear. Which do you think best suits your origins and the source of your might? Okay, so this is where we're going to have our first choice. So, if you would, Jonathan, please. You like the screaming people behind us. Great. That's an unforeseen plus there. Okay, so if you would please make a poll right now for 3 minutes. Rogue, warrior, or mage? So this is going to be the very first choice that you all make. Yeah, so once I see that live. Oh, I didn't make a button for that. Okay. Rogue. You have selected Rogue. Fair enough. You are a rogue. You were born into a life of poverty, never knowing your parents. In every regard, the shadows of the streets were your home. For a time, you tried to make an earnest life for yourself, but you found employment scarce. It seemed that no matter how hard you tried to do everything fairly and justly, luck just seemed to look past you. So, you chose to make your own luck. Perhaps, you thought, that baker had priced those sweet rolls a bit too high. Thank you. Yes, I did make it. This is all custom made for this. Took me a couple dozen hours. Okay, back to the game. Thank you so much, anonymous gifter. I have to write this down because this matters. You'll see soon. Perhaps you thought that baker had priced those sweet rolls a bit too high. One or two could easily go missing without terribly hurting his pockets. And that noble who sneered at you, kicking you when you asked for just enough money to replace your tattered boots. She never would notice if her coin purse became just a little lighter when she turned her back to you and laughed before setting on her way. The guards found you before long and demanded taxes that you could not afford. There were just too many of them to escape. And when they hauled you off, you realized that at some point, this was probably going to happen eventually. But with your talents, perhaps an opportunity may present itself if you just go along with the act for now. One-way ticket. You are a fugitive of the Towers Tilted, a region known throughout the land for its high taxes on the common folk. Those who cannot pay this tax are condemned to fight to the death in a battle royale, a sick form of entertainment for the lords and ladies of the land. You and a few others did not pay the tax, commonly known as a battle pass, and sought to avoid the subsequent tourney. Unfortunately, you were caught fleeing and have been declared AFK, or away from kingdom, a crime punishable by death, as decreed by Lord Jonathan the 55,999th of his name. You and a couple others have been rounded up and shoved into a rickety cart by a band of guards. Manacles have been roughly clasped about all your wrists, and you are forced down onto crude benches as a guard and driver take their spots up front. You quickly discover, upon examination of your fellow prisoners, that they have been treated as harshly as you, possibly more so. One of the guards that escorted you to the cart makes a crude remark about how you look a bit too confident, and you feel a sharp crack at the back of your skull. Your vision fades, and as it does, you hear a raucous laughter from your captors. The cart rocks back and forth and begins to roll down the rocky path on what all signs seem to indicate to be your final ride. Hey, you! You're finally awake. One of the other prisoners notices you stirring as consciousness returns. As the cart rolls forward, there is just enough noise to obscure the conversation, or your captors simply do not care at this point. Your morose discussion yields limited information. All of you have been sentenced to death due to not being able to afford or choosing not to pay the battle pass, and attempting to avoid paying recompense in the battle royale. Each of you exchanges names with one another. You find you are joined by Lynn, Sarah, and Lexi, and none of you have any idea where you are. You look over the side of the cart and see a thick forest, completely unfamiliar to you. Having spent your entire life in such a small territory, you've only known your immediate surroundings: farmland, the town proper, and the river Silips that gushes alongside the lot of it, providing food and a way of life for so many. cart ride to nowhere. I don't know why I'm announcing it like it's chapters of a book. As the cart carrying you and your fellow fugitives nears what will ultimately be the execution site, the ride suddenly lurches to a halt. You and the other passengers don't seem to discover the reason for the interruption. Nothing surrounds the path but the dense forest and menacing brambles choking whatever ground that might be traversable. With no buildings in sight, you begin to mutter to yourselves, and then a hush befalls your small band, and you crane your neck to see an apex hart, the largest game in the land. The driver and guard are transfixed by the rare sight. You, Sarah, Lexi, and Lynn exchange glances, and the same thought springs to all of your minds simultaneously. Now is your chance to escape. If you are a warrior, you may attempt to smash your manacles. If you chose mage, you may subtly cast unlock on your clasps. If you selected rogue, you may pick your locks with a loose nail from the cart. Using your unique skills, you may attempt to escape or choose to remain in the cart and await the final destination before you. We have another choice. Jonathan, if you please. The choices here are escape or remain. Another poll, please. Okay, you chose to escape. I think that's probably wise. You are free. Your eyes meet those of your fellow prisoners, and see only desperation. Each of them frantically pulls and twists at the iron manacles, but with varying success in loosening their bonds. A grim frown adorns your face, and you know this window of opportunity will not be open much longer. As the others struggle to secure freedom for themselves, you silently bid them good luck, and you roll backwards over the side of the cart, landing on the dusty path with a soft thud. You skulk away after you hear one of your former captors shout, "Mama got some game!" You can only assume that they are either aiming their bow at the large trophy or out of their gourd. No matter, it's time to leave. As you make haste into the woods, you see dimly lit scribbles floating upon the forest floor, the letters glowing with a faint shimmer of their own. The messages begin with what seem to be benevolent hints as to how to escape, then become more cryptic as you proceed. Try left, ahead, and try right serve as ghostly guides before giving way to such puzzling messages as try finger, but hole. You don't quite know what to make of those such missives. Opting to heed the more pointed directions, you put your trust in these mystical signposts, hoping that fate has decided to take a more gentle turn. For what seems like hours, you blindly follow the messages before arriving at a steep cliff with an impenetrable mist below. There is a single message here. Try jumping. You feel your stomach lurch as you peek over the cliff once more. But in this hesitation, you observe a singular tree that stands taller than the others in the forest, just a ways off to the side. It seems oddly familiar. Do you jump or seek the tree? Jonathan, if you would, jump or seek the tree. Chat has chosen Seek the Tree. See what happens. The Daku Tree. You make haste to the landmark you spied from the cliff, stepping carefully through the occasional bramble that snatches at your clothing. As you near the large tree, the forest seems alive with the sounds of its denizens. Birdies sing in unison. Crickets perform melodies that seem to speak intimately to you. Somehow you know you are somewhere sacred. A nagging thought in the back of your mind begins to take shape into memories. They are not fresh memories, but very old ones from your youth. These thoughts fill you with hope, and you can't help but smile despite the events of the day. You have found the fabled Daku tree, the solemn elder of the forest. You'd heard the stories as a child, how it would appear to lost travelers in their hour of greatest need. You close your eyes for the first moment of peace since your escape. When you open them again, two small wooden chests sit before you at the large trunk of the immense tree. One is inlaid with a scene of a Thank you,
Tried
Boxy.
fingerbird hole. It was super effective.
Thanks so much for the 1,000 bits. You close your eyes for the first moment of peace since your escape. When you open them again, two small wooden chests sit before you at the large trunk of the immense tree. One is inlaid with a scene of a fort beneath a moon. The other is studded with mushrooms. The boxes are aged beyond belief. You sense that the vessels are so brittle that they could crumble at the slightest touch. As you consider which to open first, they both start to dissolve to dust. You have time to open just one. Do you open the chest with the image of the fort, or the one covered in mushrooms? Jonathan, if you please. Fort or mushrooms? Okay. What was the what was the choice results? Okay. Mushroom. Okay. What happened? Angel gifted 5 subs. Thank you so much. Nerdco gave a sub. Thank you so much. Happy Geek Happy Geek Chick subbed. Thank you. Supreme Tater Queen resubbed. Oh my goodness. What are we at? What does that put us at for our goals? 17 to 20? Or is that 18 to 20? Thank you very much. Okay, what does that meter say? Okay, so you chose mushrooms. Right? Right. Okay. Make sure that's muted. Great. Thank you, Tater. A Nintendo gift card appears. Start a poll now to see who wins the prize. This is our first gift card of the night. You selected mushroom. It's a Nintendo gift card. $10. So, that's not a poll. We're not starting a poll to see who wins the prize. We're doing a raffle. I put the wrong word. I probably put the wrong word a lot from here on out, actually. Okay. So if you would like to join the giveaway for this, I'm about to make it go live. Okay, let's say 3 minutes. Okay, and we will allow past winners. So, or should we? Well, we could talk about that. All right, you got 3 minutes. Type exclamation point giveaway to enter for a $10 Nintendo gift card. Let's vote. I win. And I will find it. And you know, I was looking around for a coin in this house. Like, I could find a coin. I'm gonna have like silver fingers. That's fine. It's okay. Oh, this one peels off. Why aren't more places like that? Okay, Jonathan, I'm going to be. You can enter, of course. But I'm going to send you on Discord the code. Let's make sure this doesn't show up. Great. Okay, so we got 2 minutes left. Code is incoming in Discord, Jonathan. Okay. So Jonathan is going to hook up whoever gets that gift card with the code. Oh, Blue Eyes Wyvern with a raid. Hello, welcome. You're just in time. You've got 1 minute 15 seconds left to enter exclamation point giveaway to win a $10 gift card. We're doing a choose your own adventure RPG led by Wizard Kortra. It's me. And yeah, every choice you make is going to be dictated by polls, and there will be prizes to be won throughout the adventure. Mods can't enter? No, it shows you entered on my side. But thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream, Blue Eyes White Boomer? $30 left. So far, chat has selected Rogue. And they open a box studded with mushrooms, which featured a $10 Nintendo gift card. 15 seconds left. Place a Pokemon Yellow. Ooh, that's a fun one. That's the first one where the Pokemon can walk around with you. Philosophy stuff for mental health. Neat. Okay. I swear it's not rigged. But Jonathan has won this one. Type exclamation point claim just to get that out of the way. Vang, no! There are more. I promise there are more prizes up ahead. It only gets better. Okay, great. Great. Okay. Just got back from dinner. Okay. This was the first of a few prizes tonight. So depending on how well you do, how brave, how kind you are, the prizes escalate. So, that said, congratulations. Let's see what happens in the story. I guess you can just keep that code, Jonathan, that I sent you. Yes, Lord Jonathan, 55,999, that was his name. Yeah, and as a reminder, anyone who's subbed in the past 2 months prior to tonight is in the story in some way. So keep your eyes peeled. We've already had a couple of names out there already. I think you've spied them. The whispering wind swirls about you, scattering the dusty boxes, and you hurriedly stuff your plunder into your pocket, yet it melds into you somehow. You quickly look to the other box, but it has completely disappeared, taking with it whatever it contained.
Butt kicking for goodness!
Thank you for the 3 gifted subs. Cypher, I assume? Super subtle mentions. Yes. Sub goal is met. Sub goal is met.
For goodness!
Did this show accurately? It does. Does. That's not the one I wanted to hit.
Butt kicking for goodness!
Thank you so much for the 3 gifted subs. Okay, what is that? You'll find out later. Don't worry about it. Spoilers, sweetie. Thank you very much. Okay, where were we? Yes, okay. You quickly look to the other box, but it has completely disappeared, taking with it whatever it contained. The breeze turns into a howling gale, threatening to lift you off your feet. You look for purchase on the great daku tree, but scrabble helplessly for a hold you fail to find. Gritting your teeth, you lower your body to the ground, and almost hear a voice on the wind. The force of the storm from nowhere pulls at you, and despite your strength of body and will, you flail your limbs as you are lifted off of the earth. You take to the sky, spinning head over heels and climbing to a dizzying height, through the canopy of the daku tree and beyond. You catch a glimpse of the green of the treetops and a winding river cutting through the woods. A rookery of egrets, sleek birds much more adept at flight, get swept up alongside you in a wind tunnel that whips you through the air, and you soar uncontrollably toward the clouds. Everything in sight loses its definition, becoming as if smears of paint on canvas. You knew if you could return to the land safely, you could follow the river to some form of civilization, but that seems impossible now. You think to yourself that this is not how it should end, and your vision finally blurs to nothingness. Yeah, I was supposed to be muted. I just pressed the wrong buttons. My bad. Cypher gifting us. Thank you. The crackling of a fire stirs you to consciousness. Is that in the way? It doesn't matter. I'm reading it aloud, aren't I? The crackling of a fire stirs you to consciousness. You don't know how long you've been out, but the last thing you recall was helplessly whipping through the clouds, far above the forest you thought was freedom from certain death. You slowly open your eyes, first beholding a warm fire and darkness beyond it. As your vision clears, you see that the flames illuminate the stone walls of a small room. You assess everything you can in the room, but there is not much.
Pleased to meet you.
Thank you for the follow, Cypher. A length of wood, perhaps a torch, lies near the fire, and the firelight hints at a dark corridor on the opposite side of the room. You lift yourself onto an elbow and feel soreness throughout your body, and something warm rolls off of your lap. Upon inspection, it appears to be a singular tater. You're quickly reminded by a pang in your stomach that you have not eaten since your journey, and you cannot help but devour the potato. In your starvation, it tastes supreme, if somehow spicy. You've never had a meal like this before, both in flavor and in substance. It seems to restore you more than it should. You consider taking your time with the delicacy, but as soon as the thought crosses your mind, you find that you have eaten every last morsel. Just as you finish the meal, you hear footsteps approaching from the corridor beyond the fire. Do you pretend to be asleep, or grab the torch to defend yourself? Another poll, if you please, Jonathan. Pretend to be asleep, or grab the torch to defend yourself. Okay. That's awesome, Tallbot. I'm gonna clean some, actually. There we go. Okay. I bet she did. That's awesome. Okay, so you chose grab the torch. Wonder what's going to happen. You scramble to grab the length of wood by the fire and reflexively back up against the stone wall behind you. With all the wits you can muster, you wave the unlit torch at whatever is coming at you. You hear her before you see her, and the voice that comes from the corridor sounds almost amused. That was going to be for you anyway. You see an elven woman watching you from the other side of the fire. She stands tall in the quiet room, with hair that at once is both stark white and shining silver, and narrowed eyes that, paired with her smile, suggest that she is more humored at your response than alarmed. Forgive me, I did not mean to give you such a start. She bows her head slightly. I am Vengsursh to my people, but most know me as Safi the Dreamer. It's easier to pronounce for most humans, I think. She smiles gently, allowing your nerves to settle. It is for my people I had to call you. Her brow furrows, and she lifts her hands almost apologetically. As a druid, I have the gift of illusion and dream sight, and I saw you approach the Daku tree. I know of the danger you faced, and when you fled to the great Daku, I felt I had to act. You were being stalked, but not by whom you might expect. You were being hunted by Vadix the Diablo, the devil of the woods. The Diablo has plagued my people who hide amongst the trees, and it is the very fiend that would have taken your life had you stayed on that wagon to its final destination. I sought to help both you and my people, as we are peaceful folk, and you, I mean no offense if it is taken as such, but you are much more capable of slaying this terror. If you were informed of the threat, at least, before it caught you unawares. The druid clasps her hands. The meal I prepared for you. It was not an ordinary potato. It was dusted with powdered chumbug, which lends us a particular spiciness, I guess you would call it. The insect has great restorative powers when prepared properly, and I am happy to say that it appears to have healed whatever wounds you had sustained at the hands of your captors, and whatever bumps and bruises you might have incurred when I whisked you here. She winces. I'm still working on that spell. She clears her throat. Unfortunately, we will soon no longer be safe here. Vadix draws ever closer, and we must always be on the move to avoid its detection. I'm afraid I must see to my people, for they cannot fight this beast, and they are fearful of outsiders. I will leave you one last gift to prepare you for your fight, for once you enter the woods, you must flee forever or face the devil. The devil now has your scent, and has only whet its appetite on your former traveling companions. Her eyes cloud white for a moment, then clear, and she whispers, Sara, Lexi, and Lynn were their names. I hope you did not know them well. The druid produces from her pocket a small blue box and sets it on the ground. Consider what you need most in this world, what matters most today and tomorrow, perhaps what you have yearned for in the past. This box will enrich you, perhaps not now, but maybe later, with that source, be it coin, arms, or the warmth of those precious to you. May it serve you well. Sadly, almost piteously, she steps away, casting an illusory charm on herself. Her form changes, and all at once you see hybrids of various animals in the woods, and then just the darkness of the corridor where she once stood. You are left with the fire, beginning to die out, the unlit torch, and the blue box. You set an end to the torch and the fire, catching it alight in the dying flame, and behold the blue box. It is scintillating, and you lose yourself in it for a moment as you consider that which you want most at this trying time. But what is that? A poll, if you please. You imagine coins, you imagine friends, you imagine weaponry. I believe you selected friends, right? What's in the box? Yeah, that's a graphic. It's magic. The magic of graphics. Let's see what you pondered on. Let's see what will come to you in your hour of need. Oh, it's a Twitch gift card. $15 Twitch gift card. We're gonna start a giveaway. And should we give it 3 minutes? Was that long enough? I'm asking the internet. Was that fair? Okay. Let's see. We'll give it 3 minutes. Why not? It seemed like long enough. You got it. Okay, here we go.
Butt kicking for goodness!
Thank you so much, Safi. Exclamation point giveaway. You've got 3 minutes, and I'm going to try my best to get all this silver off of this card in the meantime. Well, this is, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for y'all, right? I just saved up for a bit, and I thought it'd be neat. So I'm hoping that y'all are enjoying this. Use the quarter. I couldn't find a coin. Oh, yeah, ignore stream elements. It's dumb. Okay, I'll be typing that code out to you, Jonathan. Assuming you're not gonna you're gonna win this one too. But we'll see. Who knows? Magic. Okay. You should have at your disposal the code for the $15 Twitch gift card. Yeah, I mean that's, you know. maybe if someone wins twice, we don't allow them to, I don't know. This is my first giveaway thing. My bad. 1 minute, 10 seconds, exclamation point giveaway. Okay, you're just screwing with me. No way. No way. Not y'all. Y'all wouldn't do that to me. 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Maybe I should do a poll to see who y'all think is gonna win. No, that's too much. That's too much. How totally and completely out of character for this chat. Yeah. I'm trying. I'm sorry if I miss much of chat. I'm trying to maintain as much of the pace and the immersion of the story. 5 seconds. Palm top pitbull. Type exclamation point claim in chat, and Jonathan will hook you up with that. Great. Awesome. Okay. How now? Where does the story lead us? So you had the blue box, and you pondered what you needed the most, right? And you chose friends. Most of you chose friends. So collectively, you chose friends. The guttering fire suddenly flares up wildly after you've made your choice, causing you to shield your eyes from the blaze. The flames take on the azure color of the box, or eliciting a sharp wazam sound and turning to a flamingo pink. The fire somehow takes the form of a bird wreathed in flames. A flamingo? No, not a flamingo. Something more majestic. Something perhaps more like a phoenix condenses into a tiny fiery star before fading away. leaving just your torch to light the room. The fire, seemingly a spell that has spent itself, is now an absence that leaves you feeling much more empty than you would like. Seeing no choice but to depart, you lead your way out of the dark with a flickering torch, a full belly, and grim determination to survive. You emerge from what turns out to have been a small stone hut, alone in the dark woods. The night is eerily silent. Even the crickets, frogs, and owls seem apprehensively quiet, lending a hushed dread to the forest. You feel worry rise up in you, the fear of being watched mingled with the utter hopelessness of being lost in this dark, strange wood. Despair begins to gnaw at you, and you take steps away from the hut into the thick black night, where your hunter somewhere awaits. You would not believe your eyes, but thousands of fireflies light up the world, or at least 2 lightly trodden paths before you. The lightning bugs seem to follow 2 courses, one to the left and one to the right. Outside of the bioluminescent glow, you see thick brambles barring progress outside of these routes. Do you opt to go left or right? A new poll, if you please, Jonathan. Okay, left. You've chosen left. Oh, thank you for the synopsis. You opt to take the path to the left. Left is right, after all. You seem to gather your resolve as the glow of the fireflies casts a soft luminescence upon the trees that border the path. You notice for the first time that the moon is not out tonight, which would explain the darkness. Surely that is a much better explanation than attributing it to impending doom. As you put what turns out to be an incredible amount of faith in a gentle swarm of bugs, you begin to hear the unmistakable gush of water. Your new alliance with insects leads you to the source of the sound, which you can only assume to be the river's ellipse, the body of water you briefly observed as you spun through the air towards the stone hut. You quicken your pace, eager to finally find a familiar landmark. Then stop suddenly when you realize you are not alone. Standing by the river is a small, shivering line of elves, some very young and some very old. You assume that these are the people of whom the druid spoke. Their eyes widen as they see you, and each of them nudges the other to continue climbing into a canoe or pirogue. Do you queue and wait with them, or not queue and shove yourself into the watercraft, despite their protests? Queue or not queue, that's the next choice you have before you. Jonathan, if you please, sir. Okay, you selected queue. I am giving it just a couple seconds because I ran a 3-minute ad like as soon as it went in. First of all, hello, welcome in. I assume we're out of the 3-minute ads now. So, you have chosen to queue and wait patiently. Let's see what happens. By the way, you are doing great. No one's died. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, right. I gotta select it. Right. You wait patiently, okay. The elves watch you warily, and they board to the last. You stand there, wondering if you made the right decision, letting all of them leave to seek safety and reunite with their druidic protector. As the boat is shoved off from the shore, their tension visibly lifts, and they huddle together as families do, embracing each other in silent joy. One of the older elves in the very back of the pirogue issues the oars, and those in front begin rowing away the vessel. The commanding elf looks as the distance that grows between you and the survivors, and he points over your shoulder. You turn to where he pointed and see a young panda bear sitting on the forest floor, just feet behind you. As you cast a confused look its way, it waves at you and speaks. Oh, hi, so what's up and stuff? I'm Joshy. You don't need to fear me or anything. We're cool. Thanks for not being a dick just now. Those guys aren't that great at fighting, so it would have been super shitty for you to take the boat from them. But you probably figure that out, I guess, since you're still here. Thank you for gifting us up, Jonathan. The jovial panda smiles at you, sitting back as if awaiting a response. Its eyes go wide, then Joshy jumps to his feet. Oh snap, I forgot! Vang wanted me to give you this. He produces from his fur a small flask. The glass container bears some faint inscription, and it is stoppered with a wooden cap carved to look like a baby angel. He hands the bottle to you, and you closely examine the message, which reads, I am love that guards the meek. I am love, the strength you seek. Shall love provide, the heart shall guide, and lift the good to highest peak. You finish reading the inscription and see the panda has been idly looking about the woods. Man, you're a slow reader, he laughs. But yeah, so anyway, he says, pointing to the cap. Once you remove the angel, 1 to 6 seconds or so is all that it's good for. That potion. So don't waste it, okay? It's super perishable, and there's only one. Thank you. Having completed his quest, he begins to turn away. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm gonna go lay down for a second, so thank you again, and take good care of yourself and make good choices. Deuces. And with that, he lumbers off into the woods, leaving you with a mysterious bottle and a sense of befuddlement at the encounter. You strain your eyes to see where the panda had walked off to as you palm the bottle, but the dark of night seems to have engulfed your odd benefactor. You examine the bottle once more and hear a rustling of leaves. You look about at what vision is afforded by your torch and the fireflies, and notice that you feel no breeze. Scanning your surroundings, you witness movement at the edge of your vision, where the forest begins in earnest. A torch emerges from the thick woods, and it reveals its bearer, one of your former captors. He is beet red and bloodied, and his scale armor is rent into pieces that still desperately cling to him. His wide eyes frantically dart about, and you are not entirely sure he sees you. You curse under your breath with the knowledge that every last spell and weapon was spent or taken away during your capture and subsequent escape. All you have to protect you is the rags you wear, torn by the brambles, the torch alight in your hand, and the bottle you were just gifted by the friend of the druid. Do you try to hide in a nearby thicket before you are spotted, or stand your ground, using the torch as best you can as means of self-defense? Jonathan, if you please. Joshy, awesome. Okay, you chose to stand your ground. See how it fares you. The guard pants wildly and bolts right past you, rushing to the river, his torch a small star, twin to yours, on this moonless night. He curses aloud, frantically, as he runs up and down the edge of the river, desperately seeking a means of crossing, or escape. A loud crack booms throughout the night, and you watch and wonder as a tree falls just short of the guard's feet. Then another. Then another. A cacophony of splintering wood causes unseen birds to take flight, and each tree falls haphazardly towards the river. The guard spins on his heels with a shriek, and you hear the mechanical grinding of gears whence the trees fell. A sharp whistle pierces the air, and you see clouds of steam fill the clearing where the frightened man quakes, not nearly far enough from where you stand. The smoke flares alive with a bright, fiery orange light, and you see, stepping menacingly toward the guard, a vaguely humanoid monstrosity of metal. Flames lick out from gaps between metal plates shaped like grotesquely long and twisted legs. Flames lick hungrily from between segments of massive iron arms that end in wicked steel talons. A toothy skeletal steer's head houses two large, smoldering embers for eyes. In an instant, you see the devil close the distance, impossibly quick, and the captor's scream of death mingles with the amalgam of shrieking steam and grinding gears, as the beast plunges a clawed hand through the helpless man. The lifeless body falls to the ground at the same time as the torch, and you notice just now that the man, too, had no weapons with which to defend himself. The clicking of the wicked machine almost drowns out the thudding of your pounding heart. Almost. Vadix, the Diablo of the woods, straightens itself from its place at the river and mechanically twitches and pivots towards you, and the embers in the great horned skull turn to where you stand, just a short distance away. With another gout of steam and flare of flame, the night brightens to a harsh mockery of day, and the forest, even the palm tops by the beach, catch fire. You groan despite yourself as the trees form a towering inferno, and you tighten your grip on the flask in your hands. You spy the torch of the dead man flickering feebly on the ground behind the beast, and you glance down at your own torch, a tool that now has no purpose. Neither seems like a good option against this behemoth. Do you charge the devil with your torch, try to plead for your life, or use the potion you were gifted? Jonathan, if you please. Okay. 77% of you chose use the potion. Out of charge, the devil, try to plead and use the potion. See where it gets you. And be safe, Boxy. With nowhere else to turn, your fingers find the bottle's cap, stubbornly lodged tightly in the flask. You wrench it free, and the panda's warning of timeliness echoes through your mind. You quaff the liquid contents of the bottled charm, which tastes inexplicably of roast duck and potatoes. Not the sweetness of salvation you expected, but enough to warm you throughout your entire body, restoring you completely. And yet, your back arches as you are lifted off your feet, and amazingly, the Diablo of the woods is pushed away from you, its clawed toes digging trenches into the soft ground as the beast is shunted almost entirely into the woods and rocked off balance. Time seems to slow as you feel your muscles flex with newfound might, dropping the spent flask to the ground. At the edge of your vision, you almost register confusion on the face of the terrible foe, but only briefly. It bellows and regains its composure, and its eyes burn with a fiery hatred. This time you know you are ready. You remember who you are and the inner strength that keeps you upright even now, facing your mightiest foe. You are prepared, but how prepared are you? Are you a mage, a rogue, or a warrior? I didn't know how to handle this in Google Forms, but we're rogue, so that's not a poll. You look down at your hand as it begins to shimmer like a mirage. Water vapor pulled from the air swirls around your fingers, and the wind about you howls, chilling the water vapor, as frost first encrusts your hand, then narrows into a dangerously jagged and pointy icicle that resembles a dagger. You feel the frigid arctic power of the blade, but it causes you no harm, as you deftly dance it across your fingers, before you grasp it tightly and surely in a fist. The devil snorts at the edge of the woods, appraising the threat you now present. Wasting no time, you begin tensing and releasing the muscles in your legs, shifting your weight and balance in a dance of death you performed so many times before your capture. Your senses and blade are equally sharp, and for the first time you see the predator at the edge of the burning woods as prey. Once your agility is firmly in grasp, you prepare your subtle strike. If you have pushed past your limits, the dance of death begins in earnest. You proceed to activate Limit Break. Which you did. So, for each of these, I had a different method of reaching a limit break. So, I'm going to would anyone be interested in me sharing the link to this quiz later so you can see how the story would have otherwise panned out? If so, let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. Okay. So, we're not going Subtle Strike. We're going to use Limit Break Subtle Strike, because thanks to the 20-plus subtle, get it? Dad joke, it's always going to be here. I'm so sorry, and you're welcome. You've amassed enough energy for Limit Break Subtle Strike. And let's see what happens. Vatic surges towards you, bent on tearing you to shreds with its outstretched claws, and you tumble deftly out of the way in your reinvigorated state. The angry whirring of gears heralds the beast's renewed attack, and you smirk as it seems almost too easy to sway out of the range of attempted strikes. Vicious talons swipe at air as you dart to either side of a flurry of attacks. The Diablo lowers its skull, angling its terrible horns for a final assault, and it rushes headlong towards you. You somersault over the lowered head of the charge, landing on one knee and sweeping your extended leg in a circle that spins you around to face the back of the mechanical fiend. You thrust the icy dagger into the center of its back, and tear a horrible gash into the plating that seemed so formidable in its wreath of flames. Your glacial spike stabs repeatedly into the back of the howling monster, and the fire at its core flares up in protest and anguish. You catch the glint of a gold semi-solid flame just at the center, where the thing's heart would be, and you almost stop your attack to attempt to pry it free. Your curiosity gets the best of you. With well-tuned agility and perfect timing, you take the calculated risk to quickly dart your free hand into the torso and retrieve the gold flame, which comes out easily. With your other hand, you plunge the stiletto-thin crystalline blade into the angry flames of Vadix. There's a shriek of metal as the plates making up the body of the enemy fly in all directions, a rain of gears showering the air as the flames of the devil's being are at once snuffed. Skeletal skull falls to your feet as your blade vaporizes. Vadix, the Diablo of the woods, is no more. You kneel, ponderously holding the skull in one hand and the semi-solid gold flame in the other. The skull hisses with steam, but the embers that were its eyes are no more. As you draw a breath, the gold flame is snuffed, and steam from the skull is drawn within you. You shudder as glimpses of memories that may one day be yours fill your mind. We have a raffle for a $50 Steam gift card. Great fucking job with that limit break, y'all. This one's going to be for 5 minutes. Steam $50 gift card. Okay. Ready? Exclamation point giveaway. Here we go. And I'll be right back. Should play some music, shouldn't I? Let me find something to play. Didn't think about this part. It's not a Rickroll! It's not a Rickroll! 1 minute 40 seconds Steam $50 gift card. Good luck, everyone. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Five seconds. $20. I hope you're in there. The winner is Tallbot. Tallbot with a $50 Steam gift card. Exclamation points. Flame. Congratulations, friend. There you go. I didn't get the card. Code. Oh, so shut up. Shut up. Damn it. Okay. Well, hang tight. Hang tight. Fairies are interfering with my arcane spells. Your code will arrive shortly. You wipe the sweat off your brow with a forearm and lift the skull of the vanquished foe. The flames of the burning tree line a macabre backdrop behind the trophy of your fight. All at once, the fear of capture and excitement of combat are gone, replaced with exhaustion and hope. You start as you hear a solitary quack. You wheel about to see a ducky comically waddle onto the shore, and the image of it ripples before the illusion is dispelled. The silvery-haired druid stands before you, a sight you admit you thought you would never see again. She smiles cheerfully, and her eyes sparkle. You compose yourself once more and greet her. Voxrush! You stutter. You try again. Safi. You can't help but feel embarrassed as she grins widely at your attempt. She nods to you. It appears you have seen victory this night, albeit not without cost. You don't know if she speaks of the forest or of your own physical toil, but she waves away any concern you might have. Thank you for saving us all. I know it was not without cost. The skull, please. I must ensure Vadix the devil does not return. She waits expectantly for you, and you hand over the trophy of your kill. She closes her eyes as she lifts the skull over her head, and in an instant it crumbles to ash that is carried away by a wind you do not feel. Her eyes open, and you see immense relief there. Thank you, she says softly. I would cast a spell to return you to wherever you would like to go, but I wouldn't want to send you hurtling through the air again. She laughs, and it is the most pleasant sound you have heard in years. Instead, she weaves her hands through the air in a silent incantation, and a small canoe appears on the shoreline, illuminated by countless fireflies. In the canoe, an oar, a warm blanket, a canteen, and a basket of taters. She nods to you. This boat will carry you to wherever your heart desires, so long as it can be touched by the river's lips. It will fade away at sunlight, which should be plenty of time for you to reach your destination. Use the gifts you were given to make a new life for yourself. I have no doubt you are destined for great things, no matter what yesterday held. She watches you as you settle into the boat and shove off with an oar, and as you turn to wave thanks to her, you see she has disappeared. You smile and close your eyes, imagining where you want to go. You turn around to begin rowing, but you find the vessel has already started drifting of its own accord. The firelight of the woods behind you is swallowed by the night. Or perhaps the druid has found some way to douse the flame. You lie back in the boat and watch the stars and fireflies above you before drifting off to dreams of a new, better tomorrow. And that's our story. Y'all got the best ending. I knew you could do it the entire time. I knew you could do it. Congratulations, everybody. No one died. No one died at all. There were deaths in the story. They were very early because I thought it would be very shitty if you were able to die and just lose. There's a good ending. There's a best ending which you reached. There's a bad ending. I'm going to share the link to the to this. Let's see. Here's a link. With this, all of you can take this if you so choose and see the choices that you didn't make. Maybe you decide to see what it's like to be a warrior. Maybe you decide to see how mage fared. You can take that and it will, I set it so it doesn't collect your emails. So you can go and see what the story might have branched off, how the story might have branched off elsewhere. There were other prizes, but y'all followed the best course and got the best prize. So, that said, I hope y'all had fun. This took a couple dozen hours, not gonna lie, like writing everything and trying to trick AI into finding an image for the beast that I described and then wanted to find an image for. But yeah, I hope y'all had so much fun. I'm gonna take a break and then grab a beer and then come back and just play some Fortnite on stream. Definitely bad ending there. Well, you'll have to see. You have to see. So later on in Discord, probably not tonight. I'm gonna like have a code basically for where you can find yourself in the story if you subbed in the past 2 months. And yeah, in the meantime, y'all feel free to follow that link and play through. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. I'm gonna take a break. Thank you so much. It's been a blast. I was very worried about how this would go, but I think for the most part it went without hitches. Thank you, Jonathan. I have not forgotten about you, Tallbot. When I take the break, I'm going to send the code to Jonathan to send to you. And then, yeah, I'll be back after a moment for Fortnite. Just fucking Fortnite. Yeah. Angel, I hope you found yourself in the story. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Let me run through the thank yous real quick. Subs, Salips, Vadix, Egret, Chum, Cypher ×4, Tater, Angel ×5, Happy Geek Chick, Nerdco ×6, Palm Top, Love G, Safi, Jonathan. Jonathan, thank you for the $25 dono. Phoenix with 201 bits, Boxy with 1500 bits, Vang with 100 bits, Raid by Blue Eyes White Boomer, follows by Percival, Happy Geek Chick, and Cypher. I think that's everybody. I'm so sorry. Lexi gifting subs. Lefty. Lexi gifted 2 subs. Thank you so much. Yes. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get a beer. I'm going to send the code to Jonathan to send to Tallbot. Congratulations on that final prize win. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. This was thanks to y'all's generosity before. Okay? So, thank you. I hope the story was fun. If you were new to role-playing games or whatever, I hope that was neat. If you played role-playing games like we didn't roll a damn thing, I hope this was a neat iteration to be able to play together. I'm going to take a break. I've said it a million times. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll be back with just a Fortnite. But those of you who have to go to sleep, those of you who have to get elsewhere and do stuff on Saturday, thanks for being here. I'll be back.